Hey everyone, it's Presley of ActOutGames.com here, and today I am reviewing Son of Neptune. Okay, so this is a phenomenal book. I really can't decide, but it's really good. So I really can't decide if it's one of my favorite books, which is my favorite book, but it definitely is one of my favorite books. So Neptune is such an amazing book. This time you have Percy, Frank, and Hazel, who are, already know Percy is a phenomenal character, but Frank and Hazel have amazing characters, and it feels like you already know so much about them, and it feels like you know Annabeth as well as you know Frank and Hazel, because Ricky Riordan did it so well to get Frank and Hazel known who they are and how they think and like what their powers are and everything in one book. It feels like you know them as much as good as Annabeth. And like I said, this is like I said in the last review, I may have said that these books are very long and they have POVs, which are really cool because they have like the three characters in this book are Percy, Hazel, and Frank. So you can have the point of view of Percy for one chapter, and then Frank for one chapter, and then Hazel for one chapter, so you can see all the different perspectives, and it just feels like you know them so much better because Annabeth doesn't have a perspective in the previous series, so it's just weird because you only have Percy's perspective, or it's not really anyone's perspective in the last series, but it follows Percy. In this series, it follows so many people at once because there can be one person who's like outside buying something, and then there can be one person who's in the house staying guard. These are examples I made up. And then there can be one person at a cafe, which none of this, I don't believe that has ever happened when one person was at a cafe and at home, but you can see all the perspective of what's going on there and at their time. So it's a really good book. It follows the Gaia plot. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Gaia. I'm going to say Gaia because it's a lot easier for me to say. But it follows the Gaia plot. She's still trying to take over the world, of course. But this book is about defeating Alconius. I'm sorry that I speak terrible Greek and cannot pronounce anything from Greek. But Alconius is made out of the riches of the earth. He's like made out of iron and diamonds and gold and plutonium. I don't know, I'm just naming random minerals now that he's probably made out of. So he's like a giant walking robot. No, seriously, he's giant. Seriously, he's like 50 feet tall. Oh my gosh, he's huge. He's way bigger than our house. I don't know how big he is. He's like the Empire, probably shorter than the Empire State Building, but still. He's taller than Kronos, I think. Is that canon? Probably. Like I said, it's such a phenomenal book. I love it so much. It's definitely my favorites. I really can't decide if I like the last two or this one better because they're both really good and they both have different characters. 3 different characters that you're all following the perspective from. And it's just such an amazing book. I love it so much. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the characters now. So you all know Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon. He's fabulous, he controls water and everything. Except there's one thing different about him. At the beginning of the book, he loses his invincibility, which changes him a little bit because he's no longer invincible. But the doors of death are now open, so he's kind of invincible until those are closed, because everyone who dies comes back to life and dies, and then again and comes back to life. This makes for a very large problem with all the monsters at Camp Half-Blood and Jupiter and everything. So that's not exactly a very good thing, which means the heroes live forever, but the monsters also live forever. So that's quite a good thing. And I forgot to mention Camp Jupiter. You're all thinking this is based off of Camp Half-Blood. At least you probably are. But nope, this is Camp Jupiter, the Roman camp. Because I was kind of confused a little bit because like there's Greece and then there's Roman camps and they totally don't know who they are. And it's kind of confusing a little bit. But I know that if you've read this book, it's a little bit rushed. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but if you've read the book, I know, I'm not going to say win, but it's really rushed at one point, but everything else is really good. This right, and they have really good characters. So Frank is really cool. He has a special family power, which I'm going to leave to you to find out. Hazel has a curse. She's still an amazing character. They're not exactly very Mary Sue-ish, because you may be thinking from just family's curse. Curse is, sometimes her curse is not, it's kind of a curse, kind of a charm. It works as both sometimes, so it's kind of confusing. But she definitely has a curse, and they're definitely not Mary Sue's or Gary Stu's. They're really balanced out characters. They're well balanced out. They're well awesome. They're amazing. I can't believe how well Rick Riordan made these characters into characters that you know who they are, and you connect with them like you did connect with, like you can connect with Annabeth. It's like they're already super duper characters that you've been with for a while, because these books are significantly longer. I can't say much about this book other than it's really good, because I really don't want to spoil the plot and everything, but it's so good and you should read it. And if you ever want to talk about the book and if you've already read it, then you can email me or whatever. You can send me something and I'll try to respond with the stuff I liked about the book. It's really good. You should definitely read it. And before reading this, be sure to read all of the Percy Jackson books before it, which is The Lost Hero, the whole other series of Percy Jackson, so read those before reading this book, because it's very important that you don't start on the 7th book, because that would be kind of confusing. If I started on the 7th book of Harry Potter, I'm like, what is going on? Who is Harry Potter? Well, I probably knew. Who is Luna? You just make sure that you don't start with this one, because it kind of wouldn't make sense if you started with this one. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!